guys, this is Matt Brunet, and welcome to Movie News Weekly, hosted by FilmBook. Now, before we begin, let's take a look at what we got in this week's news, which includes The Boss takes on the superheroes, what the next Spider-Man movie will be called, Jon Favreau could be going to Disneyland, Will Ferrell is literally going up in life, the strong economy of Zootopia, Wonder Woman will be sooner and The Jungle Book origin is later, Sony is bringing something back from the hacks, bad times ahead for Warner Brothers, the familiar names that will play some familiar names, and Furiosa is going fast. So, with that said, let's get things started. This weekend is now Batman vs. Superman vs. Melissa McCarthy. Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice and the new movie The Boss are practically tied for the top spot on the weekend box office, as both made almost $23.5 million. However, it seems that The Boss got a slight edge over the superhero movie and made it to first place on its opening weekend. While that is happening, Zootopia is sitting pretty in third place with more than 14 million, and My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2 is far behind with fourth with more than 6 million. Meanwhile, the new first-person action movie Hardcore Henry started off pretty soft by only getting 5 million, but manages to get on top of the Christian movies like Miracles from Heaven with almost 5 million, and God's Not Dead 2 with 4 million. It may not say much, but maybe that's what we'll call it. In a report from BBC, Sony has registered a domain name called Spider-Man HomecomingTheMovie.com, implicating that there could be a possibility that the next Spider-Man reboot will be called Spider-Man Homecoming. Comic book fans might find this title familiar, as it shares the same name of Amazing Spider-Man number 252. However, since there is no confirmation from Sony that this is the actual title, there could be a chance that this is the title of another film like the animated Spider-Man film coming late 2018. But no matter what it's called, Spider-Man will be making his solo debut, again, on July 7th, 2017. Now that he's ready to show the world what he did with the Jungle Book, he has another project he'd like to do that's been on the shelf for a long time. At a press junket of The Jungle Book, director Jon Favreau revealed that he has not given up on his project called Magic Kingdom. He stated, "Well, hopefully now with this collaboration, if it works out well, we can explore what Magic Kingdom could be. It's something I feel very passionate about. Part of the reason I explore this technology I use on Jungle Book is because I was considering it for that film, and maybe it might be something we work together on." His idea for Magic Kingdom is to be a bit like Night at the Museum, but set in Disneyland where all the beloved characters of the parks come to life. His version of the Jungle Book will be ready to be released next week. I wonder if this means that he'll actually meet Santa along the way. Will Ferrell has signed on to star in a comedy with Temple Hill. The movie is based on a New York Times article by Guy Larson called "An Insurance Salesman and a Doctor Walk into a Bar and End Up at the North Pole, the Story of an Accidental Pioneering Expedition," where it tells the true story of 6 guys from Minnesota who decided to go on the first successful expedition to the North Pole. This will not be the first time that Ferrell and Temple Hill will work together in a movie, as they previously teamed up for Everything Must Go. The movie has yet to have a director or writer attached to the film. Don't be surprised if you'll be hearing this again in the future. Zootopia has officially surpassed $800 million at the worldwide box office, making it the third highest grossing film by Walt Disney Animation Studios behind The Lion King and Frozen. As of this video, the movie currently made almost $300 million domestically and $556 million overseas. It has received universal acclaim from both audiences and critics, and, as you can see, has found great financial success in many countries, including China. The only major country that it has left to premiere is in Japan on April 23rd, leaving it with a strong chance that this will become the 4th animated feature to surpass $1 billion at the box office. Better to just stay away from Disney as possible. Warner Brothers has switched the release dates of 2 of their most anticipated films. First, they moved up Wonder Woman from June 23rd, 2017 to June 2nd of that year. On top of that, they added 2 more release dates for DC films that have yet to be announced on October 5th, 2018 and November 1st, 2019. The second is their adaptation of Rudyard Kipling's classic novel, Jungle Book Origin, delaying it from October 6, 2017 to October 19, 2018. The director of the film, Andy Serkis, mentioned on Facebook that he is delighted for this date change as it can give him more time to perfect his technology. The choice to delay the movie is most likely to keep it as far away from Disney's recent version of The Jungle Book. This may seem like common news, but it's the subject of what it is that makes it pretty crazy. Sony decided to revive one of their old projects by hiring David Skruppa to write the infamous Cleopatra project that's based on the Stacy Schiff's book, Cleopatra: A Life. The production of this movie was revealed to be one of the more interesting stories discovered in the Sony hack. Beforehand, Angelina Jolie was supposed to star in the film, and she tried to bring in David Fincher to direct. The one who was opposed to this was Scott Rudin, as he sees it as a way to lure Fincher away from directing Jobs, which Rudin produced. He even messaged then head of Sony Pictures Amy Pascal to better shut Angie down before she makes it very hard for David to do Jobs. Ultimately, Fincher quit both projects and Danny Boyle became the director of Jobs. It seems that Batman vs Superman might hit the studio pretty hard. Sure, it might have gotten a lot of money at the box office, but it seems like that movie will be to Warner Brothers like what The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was for Sony. On top of releasing big budget films that end up bombing like In the Heart of the Sea, Jupiter Ascending, and Pan, things seem to be going in a pretty downhill slope for Warner. As a result, some executives and filmmakers claim that Warner Brothers could be distributing fewer films in the future and will now rely on only 3 franchises to bring in the most revenue. These includes the ones based on the DC Comics, the LEGO franchise, and the upcoming film series that will be spun off from Harry Potter. Analyst Steve Birenberg noted that Time Warner has some work ahead, and it would be helpful if the next movie in the DC relaunch were more widely praised. The next big movies that Warner Brothers has ahead this year include Suicide Squad on August 5th and Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them on November 18th. Live from New York, it's Retro Saturday Night! Netflix has announced a good chunk of the cast that will be appearing in A Futile and Stupid Gesture, which tells the true story of the early years of National Lampoon and how it jumped from making comedy magazines to movies. The co-founders, Henry Beard and Douglas Kenney, will be played by Will Forte and Domhnall Gleeson, and Matt Walsh will play Matty Simmons, the man who encouraged them to go and make movies. As for the old SNL cast, they will be portrayed by John Daly as Bill Murray, Rick Glassman as Harold Ramis, John Gemberline as John Belushi, and Joel McHale as Chevy Chase. The movie will be directed by David Wayne and is hoping to start filming this month. Good thing she has experience with crazy cars in the new Mad Max. Charlize Theron has officially signed on to join the cast as a new adversary in the latest installment of the Fast and Furious films, Fast 8. This was confirmed from the official Fast and Furious Twitter account as is stated, "Our crew will face its greatest adversary in our new film. Welcome Charlize Theron to the Fast family." She will not be the only new person appearing, as Game of Thrones' Christopher Hivju will be portraying one of the lead henchmen. Fast 8 will be coming to theaters April 4th, 2017. And that's all I've got for this week. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to head on down to film-book.com for all the latest movie and TV news, along with their columns on the box office and their theatrical release schedule. Also, you can follow them on whatever social media you'd like. And while you're at it, you can follow me on my YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter if you're more into stuff like animation, Disney, and my weird sense of humor. If you were watching this on YouTube, then hit that like button and come subscribe to us, and also leave a little comment on what you think on the news this week. If you were listening to this on a podcast on iTunes or any other podcast service, then don't forget to rate and review what you just heard. Tune in next time for another round of Movie News Weekly, and until next week, see you later, dudes!